So, God.
Del, do you have any of that wine for us?
Yes.
Get out. Like, seriously, get out. Like, right now.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for, and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
No. Hello, welcome to the Tomb of the Terrible. I'm your humble servant, UncleNecRo, and forgive me, I am currently rethinking my life choices right now. So tonight I am joined by Del and Ratatouille, Tom Dog, our guest Sam, and Friday in Chaos. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Drinking wine. Ratatosker went with a white by Gallo because he assumed that couldn't be cursed. But
okay.
How are you doing?
It's been a while. How am I doing? Well, tonight's movie, we continue down the path that Del has paid for us this season. Ben and all hope who enter here for tonight, we're discussing Amityville Karen. Directed by Sean C. Phillips and released in 2022, Amityville Karen involves the titular Karen, a very unpleasant lady with no inner monologue whatsoever, stealing a cursed bottle of wine from a struggling local brewery for some reason, and soon finds that the price to pay is far more dangerous than the average hangover. Everyone in her path becomes prey, and not even a manager can be called in to stop her. My God, the pain. We're going to need the deep hurting warning. Bring it up.
Okay, hold on.
Deep hurting.
Every time I suggest a movie from now on, I'm going to get this one.
Yes. Chewing the cud. just the way it looks at us. Like, my God, what are you thinking? But was this the first time watching for everybody?
Yeah.
It was for me. Sam, I'm not very surprised, but
Sam is our Amityville expert.
Introduce our guest again here. Yes, I've.
This is Sam Panico. He is from B&S Movies. And he made it his mission to watch not only some great movies, but some terrible movies and all of the Amityville movies, to the point where people contact him before they even reach the stores to let him see them, though he puts up reviews on IMDb with things like suicide inducing, which we read when he couldn't show up for the one show. One of the shows. So
yeah, I'm not always nice about them, but I try. Every movie is a miracle. Every movie that when it gets made, it takes a lot of work. Some movies are worse and lesser miracles than others. Some aren't even movies, as I'm sure you guys will say. But this is not the worst Amityville movie I've ever seen. There are a million times worse ones. Some by some of the same people in this. But yeah.
I've noticed that it's not just like one director makes 10 Amityville movies. There are like some actors and actresses who are like, oh, we float between directors and producers. What do you need? I need a dumb bimbo. Got her. She was in this one and that one. We'll just grab her.
I mean, Sean Phillips has been in 65 movies in like 5 years. So, you know, he'll do anything. He's in Amityville Bigfoot, Amityville Webcam, Amityville Shark House, Amityville Job Interview, Amityville Frankenstein. Don't watch that one if you guys haven't yet. It's horrible. Amityville Thanksgiving, maybe worse. And Amityville in the Hood, which is good. Amityville Hex, which is horrible. Yeah.
Wait. Did you just say Amityville Job Interview?
Yeah.
Yeah. I might put it on the list.
There's a sequel to it called Amityville Rideshare, which is a real movie too.
I love it so much. This is why I'm torturing everyone, guys, because that happens. And he was just going up. Yeah, we do have Thanksgiving on the list.
It's a really rough watch. That one almost got
I know.
There's Amityville Turkey Day too, which is by the same people. It's not the same movie. I thought maybe they were going to pull a drive-in stunt and have it be the same movie. It's not. I'm saving it for a day that I'm in a really good mood so that I can thoroughly depress myself.
And the season goes on, folks. Oh my gosh. So we're going to go around and start doing the first impressions of this. We'll go with Del here.
Okay. So my first impressions of this were, it was about exactly what I was expecting. I'm going to go through, I got a couple of pictures here. I'm just going to show some of the things for those of you who don't actually want to sit through this, like, you know, we not only start off with a Karen, we also have a Kevin, which for those not in the know, a Karen, you know, is the bitchy, I want to talk to your manager person. And a Kevin is a person who you're just like, how did Darwin's Law miss you? How are you still alive with the amount of brains you have in your head? When did logic not work? And in this scene, she is yelling at her boyfriend for coming into the house and telling him that he should go back home and have his mommy sign his permission slip because he lives in his mom's basement and he didn't graduate high school, but he's her sexy boy toy. And he's just like, okay. Here we have the picture. Karen gets some wine. And I wanted to point out that the wine bottle, to me, when I looked at this, I was like, is that Donald Sutherland or is that Alan Moore? Or is that Donald Sutherland trying to be Alan Moore? I wasn't really sure. But then he showed up like this. And now I really don't know what I'm doing with my life. Because that is a contract, yes, with a little X for her to sign her name by, that he's like shoving in her face, sign the contract, bitch! And I was like, okay, that's going. And they're at this winery. And this is the band they play, and you'll recognize the girl on the left from, I believe it was Amityville Clown House.
Yeah, that's Donna Lee Helsing.
Yeah, she's been in. She was the one I was kind of saying she does a bimbo well, you know. Here is our main star, James Duvall with somebody. Well, he's not really the main star, but if you've heard of somebody in this movie, it's more than likely James Duvall. This is our director, Sean C. Phillips, who I also like to think of as a poor man's Clint Howard. These are the two people at the winery that just are always there, and they're the only people that aren't really part of the plot hugely, but there's like all of these employees and everybody pretends it's really busy, but they're like 10 people taking care of these two people. This is what happens when Karens get hungry. This is the stupidest death I've ever seen in my life. And this is Karen Goes Wild. So those are all the things that I saw and was like, I think that people need to see these things. So those were my impressions of like what I felt I needed to grab and share with our viewers.
I know that in the past couple of years doing this, we've seen some pretty stupid deaths.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
a lot.
So
those are my
Me,
impressions.
it does look, but bear with me. It does seem that I am lagging pretty good here. So I will try to do this in a timely manner. So Tom Dog, what were your first impressions of the movie?
I was skeptical about this movie. I was really, the concept was there, but the person playing Karen just seemed too young to play it. She was, it was like she just got like she was a senior in college or something like that. If she was like more middle age, I would say it would make sense. But this was not the perfect person to play Karen. And now I'm not an expert on Karens, but who the hell sleeps with a teddy bear? Like, I mean, really? She's supposed to be a grown person sleeping with a teddy bear, and this is my comfort bear. I've had this since I was a baby. So, my first material possession. Anywho, I was digressing there. So the fact that this cursed wine came from the Amityville house makes good sense. I like that plot. The guy that's the Donald Sutherland character that Carrie was saying, he was creepy. He was really creepy. A lot of him, and it was but it was still a really good concept, that he made this wine in the Amityville house, so that was cool. I don't have a problem with that. There was too many uses of the swear, to overkill with the swears. That it should not have been. And and then in one scene, I thought I was watching Amityville insert porn name here that we have not that I've reviewed on my show that I promised I would. So it was a nice little cameo of that part, if everybody knows what that part, and it was, but and the death scenes when I get to my good and bad, it was but other than that, the movie was interesting. An interesting concept.
Yeah, that is one way of putting it. So Sam, I am curious. First of all, I've perused your blog for a bit, and I am very, very much impressed with so many movies that are just out there for us to feast on. And you do the hard labor into actually diving into it. I applaud you.
Thank you.
And I look forward to having you on the show more and more. When did you first see this movie particularly?
This actually got sent to me by the label before it came out, because they were really excited about the title, which is a great title. All Amityville movies are basically, they should have three things: great title, high concept, great tagline. This doesn't have a tagline. The original Amityville's "For God's Sake, Get Out" is one of the best taglines ever, right? So I came up with a few for this. My favorite was "For God's Sake, She Wants to Speak to Your Manager," "Bleach Bobbed Possessed," and "She Demands Death and an Apology." So that it needs that tagline. But I was kind of amazed because I had just interviewed James Duvall when this came out, and he was shocked that anyone had seen it. He's in some huge movies. He's in Independence Day, Gone in 60 Seconds. He's the bunny in Donnie Darko. Like he's in all the Iraqi movies, like the Doom Generation. Like he's been in a lot of really great movies, and you can tell comparatively to the other actors in this, he's really great. I think one of the big issues that you'll notice in all these Amityville movies, they're improv a lot. There's not really a script written as much as like an idea of what happens, and it's very hard for non-actors to improv. So that's why that swearing comes up, because swearing is always a crutch to kind of carry you through stuff. It's like in a wrestling match. If you don't know how to chain wrestle, you just throw punches, and you don't really know how to work. It's the same way in these movies. Like if you don't know how to speak, you do that. So that's why there's always a lot of swearing. And always, I think if you notice, people kind of circuitously speak where they kind of go back and make the same point a couple times, because nobody really knows when they direct these when to cut. So that's why they're not really movies. They're just like someone turned a camera on and they just capture as much footage as they can, and hopefully someone will edit it into something. It's very rare, especially for these. These are released by SRS a lot and smaller labels. Like to actually have a coherent story, beginning, middle, and end, is a rarity in these movies. This one gets so close, but it's like Tom said, it's a great concept. The idea that wine would be made in the Amityville house. It also steals that concept from Amityville in the Hood, because the Amityville house is where they grew the weed in that movie, the Amityville, the Possession. So 100% would smoke that. No questions asked, no matter what happens. Because Amityville 2 is the best of all Amityvilles. But this one, it tries. The idea of an Amityville Karen is pretty funny. I've been to a few wineries this year because for some reason, all the wineries around me have concerts now. And it's always like bands that are dead that you can see the cover band versions of and get really drunk for like $5. So I think that's a positive thing. I think also you'll notice this in a lot of these Amityville movies where they're kind of like that, hey, let's put on a show kind of movies, where it's like, well, we want to make a movie called Amityville Karen. What do Karens like? They like wine. Oh, my friend has a winery. Oh, my friend has a band. And everybody kind of brings something to the party, and then they get a bunch of people on Indiegogo or Patreon or something to fork over some money so that it doesn't look completely bad. So someone puts a camera on a table because there's no tripod, and we hope for the best.
Okay, wow, that was right fascinating. We'll get to some of those points in the what did we like and what we didn't like portions, and oh boy, some of the brain droppings. But moving along, Friday, what were your first impressions of this movie?
I expected her to be offended a lot. I had wondered how she'd take out the offendedness. She took it out on way many people, and it took forever to do so. She did very well at being offended, and everybody else did very well at trying to do whatever they were trying to do. I'm just not sure what half of it tended to be.
Yeah, me neither. But Chaos, yeah.
I had to fight to get through this movie. I had no real expectations going in, but I just want my 2 hours back.
You'll get that a lot, I think. But as for me, yeah, this is my first time watching this thing. And before watching this, I was thinking this may be another instance where I'm going to regret, but not being a drinker while watching. And after watching this, I do kind of wish I had something to drink. This was painful, not in the, at least it's unintentionally amusing sort of way. We'll get into that. But first, there's some trivia that, a couple of points of trivia that I found interesting. First, this movie was filmed in 5 days, and it shows. There is, like our movie last week, there is a Nebraska tie-in. I'm from Nebraska, and so is Dell. David Perry, who is listed as one of the executive producers on the movie and acted in other Amityville movies like this, he played football at the University of Nebraska, where he was a team captain and two-time all-conference selection. So, yay Huskers, I guess. I'm presuming it's Huskers. It was just listed as University of Nebraska. We have 3 universities of Nebraskas here in Nebraska because Nebraska.
Why not?
So that should be our state motto. Nebraska. Why not?
Currently, it's Nebraska. It's not for everyone. We paid Colorado $350,000 to come up with that one for us.
Colorado.
Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fun.
So
I have some suggestions
okay,
for new taglines if you guys need it for Nebraska. So
we'll probably use some later. So okay, so let's go ahead and further unpack this. We'll get to that, Stefan. We'll get to that. But yes. So what did we like about this movie? This should be nice and brief. Del, go ahead.
Okay, I got some good giggles out of it. I gotta admit, like when some of the kills that she has are just bloody hysterical. There's a guy in her neighborhood who's jogging, and it's after she's lost it and she's going around killing everybody. And she just like runs out of the street and is like, "You don't have a permit to jog here. The streets are for cars." And she just like jumps him through a bush and then starts eating his innards. And it's just like, well, then that was rather fun. And the other one was, and I don't know, you were saying that some of this is just ad-libbed shit, but when the band's sitting around complaining about how they haven't gotten paid and how they need money, and the one guy's just like, "Man, I got kids at home, 5 kids, and my wife who's addicted to heroin." And they're like, "We told you to dump her. She sold one of the kids for heroin, man." He's just like, Can you get a check? "Oh, you're going to bring the check here? Do they have any heroin? We told you to jump the junkie, man. Nobody's getting her heroin." It was just like, nice bit. I like that. It made me giggle.
Okay.
So yeah,
I'll give you that.
I didn't, like some of the little tidbits here and there, the production, the wine bottles looked kind of cool. I have a lot more that I dislike, but those little things like made up for it for me a little bit. I was like, I don't really feel like I need to put up the suicide hotline number right now. So, those are my good bits.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
and one more.
The good bits.
One more good bit that made me giggle. There is a scene where she's having a nightmare or something, and like a possessed chick with purple hair and blood running out of her mouth, wearing like a chainy necklace and really high boots with huge high heels, comes out, and like a little floofy skirt of her closet. And they're like, "Oh, no, don't, you put on more clothes. Don't dribble blood all over. This is my house. What are you doing? This is a horrible dream." And then she goes and like does the back arch, like she's gonna do a crab walk thing, but the heels on her boots totally prevent her from doing that on the hardwood floor. She just keeps slipping as she's trying to do it. And so they like catch her attempting it, and then they like edit out to her like rolling back over and then crawling up on her. And so it's just like, ooh, good try. You didn't think that through very well, did you? You didn't even try it once before you put it on camera? Okay. Okay. So, okay, that was my last good point.
That okay. I think she could be a better adult. Interesting. There was a little bit of a showage in that scene. Let's just say.
Yeah.
So intentional, unintentional, I don't know. But Tom Duck, what did you like about this movie?
Okay. All right. What I like about this movie, it was the Karen dialogue was perfect. Was funny. I like that. There were some good death scenes. However, when we get to the bad parts, I'll explain why there were some bad ones. But but the Karen dialogue was funny. The scene with the possessed woman coming out of the closet, that part I actually did like. Perfect use of the chocolate syrup. That part I liked. You know, I'm a stickler for that. And you know, if you're going to use, you know, effects like that, do it right. And in a way, they did in this film. Like I said earlier, the alcohol, you know, the wine was good. The band that acted like they came out of a, you know, that they were cutting a wrestling, like an indie wrestling promo. That they were cracking me up. Hole is just a hole. It's a catchy tune. And how he died was hilarious as well too. And you know, there were some, you know, of course there were some adult scenes, not as much as they should have, but it was, for this movie, it was just the right temperature. Other than that, it was pretty much all I liked about this. And it was those were the good parts I liked about the film.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I seem to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a little laggy, but we can hear
Can
you.
you see me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I think there's a download going on. That's. Oh my gosh. So, all right. So let's move on here. Sam.
Yeah.
What did you
like
about
my creature has
this
come
movie?
into the chat to join us for the movie. This is Cubby. He was barking his head off. He wanted to get in.
No thanks. I've already eaten.
He doesn't have any teeth. He watches a lot of Italian horror movies with me. So I really like James Duvall in this, and I think it's interesting that 3 of the cast members are all horror hostesses. Those would be the lead in this, Lauren Francesca as Lauren Frankenstein, Jennifer Nangle, who's in this as Malovia, the Queen of Scream, and Lilith Stubbs, who's in this for a brief moment. She's in the Bad Movie Police. She's Drusilla Dredd. Yet, and this is something I like, but I'm going to say something negative. 3 people that do bad horror movie shows all made this movie, so that should maybe they should know a little better. But I do like the concept and the idea that these grapes from Amityville, who knows if Amityville, New York is a good wine growing country. I live in Pittsburgh and there's wineries all over here. And it's like, we're not really known for our grapes. The wines here are not good. But comparatively, this isn't Napa Valley. This is, this is a steel mill area. I feel the same way, that I wonder what the wine tasted like that was grown in Amityville. I imagine it's just like a sweet dessert wine and not anything all that good. But they should have made a wine to go with this, so that when I got the DVD, it should have came with a wine, and then that way, I'd be like, oh, well, that's a good product tagging. They did, like you say, they did a nice job on the label. I noticed these things from working in advertising. I hate when I watch movies and like signage doesn't look good, or labels don't look good, or bands don't sound like bands. But there's enough in this to get you through it. I shall not say anything else negative until we get to the what don't you like about this.
Okay. Friday, what did you like about the movie?
I cannot expound on anything, and I generally like the fact that it ended.
We're getting that a lot with these movies. Chaos.
I would say I liked when the credits rolled, but I can't even really say that.
True. I would have to agree with you there. But as far as myself, I do have to say that the opening music before the title sequence, where it's using the kind of the 1950-ish information short film type of music, like a 50s sitcom, was a nice change of pace. I was kind of hoping, it filled me with a false hope that they were going to go into more of a tongue-in-cheek satire route, but sadly, no. Also, the bearded quasi-religious cult leader guy and the plumber were both amusing. That's about it. So, which means we're now at our favorite part, at least for this movie. What didn't we like about this movie? Del. And
Okay.
go.
What we didn't like about this movie, we didn't like the pacing so much. It seemed to be rather sporadic. There would be like these long drag out parts, and then a whole bunch of stuff happened at once, and then it would drag out again. The fact that they couldn't pay anybody to just sit in a back area in the winery, like just to be there, so that it looked like there was a reason to have as many employees as they had. That bugged the shit out of me. Like, I get that we didn't see the whole winery because, they probably didn't have the budget to do all that, or they were going to a friend's house to film it, and they didn't want to get in every little nook and cranny. So we saw just some important parts, but it seemed like there was a lot of space, and there's a live band and all this stuff, and they have like one fan, people who are trying to leave because they hate it. And I was also exceptionally confused when Ivan, who had been buying the other gal who, let's see, got the picture. When this guy who was buying this girl drinks all night, and she was like, go away, I don't want to dance with you, no, fuck off. He went out to his truck to get some date rape drugs. I shouldn't have said that word, sorry. But to get some pills to put into her drink. And he reached into the back of his pickup truck. Like it wasn't like there was like the wrench or, like the toolbox in the back or something, that he just had sliding all around and hopefully not blowing away a little baggie with like 5 pills in it. And I mean, A, it's terrible that he was going to use that on her, but also B, why do you store your drugs in the back of your pickup bed? That makes no sense to me. He could have opened the door and reached in his glove box. He could have done anything, but that's where he chose to keep his stuff. And I know it's like a real minor thing, but that part for some reason really bothered me. I was just like, oh, are you serious? Like, But yeah, I don't know, some of her random rampage things were just really weird. And the way that she got killed in the end, I suppose it was supposed to be irony, but it was just very unsatisfying, I guess. So, and as we'll all discuss, the Patreon comments or little video, hi, I spent money so that I could say 20 seconds worth of stuff at the end of this, and some of them were related to the movie and some of them were not, and some of them were attempting to relate to the movie but didn't quite get the memo on what it was about. So there were various different errors and things involved in those. That was something where even though they spent the money and they put them in, I wish they would have said something like, oh, she wasn't a soccer mom because she didn't have any kids, or no, that wine wasn't cured, it was actually cursed. Do you want to retake that 10 seconds that you filmed and send it to us with the right word in it so you don't look like a total idiot? Nah, we got your money, we got your clip, we're done. So that was
The check cleared.
Yeah. Those were the main things that really bothered me.
Okay. Well, Tom Dog, what didn't you like
Alrighty.
about the movie?
Okay, where do I begin? Some of the there was one dialogue at the beginning of the movie, where they kind of botched it a little bit, and they didn't go back to edit that out. That bothered me. That scene with the guy that was going to get the roofies out of this truck bed, that didn't make no sense either. But also his death was there, but it was off because it was just some weird tentacle. Yeah, some weird tentacle that wasn't even attached to anything, like to his body, and it didn't even like remotely appeared to have his like insides look like it was cut open. That bothered me. Now on the characters, the discount Chris Klein, he was there. The discount Clint Howard, who failed at the Clint Howard School of Acting. He was annoying. There was some random guy next to to that old guy. It was like a discount Burl Ives in some sort of weird freaky fetish film, with the bad gas and everything like that. That didn't make no sense. They could have just edited that out, and you wouldn't miss anything. The Karen's death, which I agree with Del, it didn't make a lick of sense. It should have been a little bit better, because when you saw her in the eye, it just looked like she had raspberry jam on her face, on that eye. It's just like, really? It's like, if you're going to do it that way, do it right. I mean, including with the budget that they had, because I'm pretty sure they got some of that, the effects stuff at Spirit Halloween. And so, and the end, the end scene with the newsreels and everything like that, it could have been a little bit better. It just looked like some sort of community video that they were doing for a community college project. Especially there was one guy in the scene where it was flushed out and everything on a digital background, and his name was Casey Anthony. I don't know if anybody caught that. I was like, ooh. And yeah, that part, and then the end, the stuff at the during the credits too, didn't make no sense, and then there was one guy referencing tomfoolery. I found that offensive because there's only one Tom who does tomfoolery a lot, and that's me. And that right there was no tomfoolery. So, but, and it was, it just like, it was a huge miss. And then of course some wrestling type moves, which, could have been better. As a wrestling fan, it just could have been a lot better, because how the hell are you going to beat the hell out of somebody with a clipboard, and then in one scene not have it be there, and then in the next shot it's back in the scene? I'm like, what the hell was that all about? So yeah. But yeah, it was horribly bad.
Yes, it was. So, our new show bestie, Sam. What did you not like about this movie?
As Shakespeare wrote, brevity is the soul of wit. This movie does not understand that concept. It's an hour and 45 minutes when it should be about 45 minutes. I'm a big believer that movies should be nice and short. That's why Roger Corman's movies are better than people think they are, because they get done most of them get done around 65 minutes. And that's about my attention span. An hour and 45 minutes for this, especially with that tacked on ending. Frank Miller should have never done the TV screens in The Dark Knight Returns, because everybody ripped off that concept for years. Every Image comic did it based on him. Now every movie of these does it. And the reason why they do it is so many of these movies are filmed just by people sitting on their laptops, and they record a little thing and they send it in. So that's what drives me nuts. You can tell the moments that people have just recorded something on their own and send it in, and hopefully you can use it in the movie, and they figure out a way to use it, but it doesn't fit the movie at all. The movie just starts to drag. For all the really good parts of this, the extraneous parts take away from it. Do you know what I mean? So that's why it's like, if you got to trim the fat and just do what you do well. Sean Phillips is someone, this is his first directing that wasn't in an anthology film. And generally his anthology ones are better, again, because they're 15 minutes, 20 minutes. His acting is the same way, where he is very repetitive and he keeps going back and saying the same things and screaming. And it's not always easy to watch. So not the worst movie I've ever seen, but vying for this title. I've seen some really rough movies though. And this one at least has a climax, like you guys said, where Karen gets her just desserts. So that part's good. With this concept though, if there was somebody out there that had the budget to put into it and had some better actors, this could be a pretty funny movie and really well done. I'm waiting for the rest of Hollywood to learn that these Amityville movies exist, and someone that has a budget to put something out. I know there's a new Lionsgate Amityville coming out. They already tried one 2 years ago. It wasn't good either, but someday, somehow, someone will figure out that you can make these without any copyright, because you can't copyright a town. And suddenly there'll be a bunch of these out. Shockingly, nobody's figured out that you can do that with Children of the Corn, which I know is shot near you guys. And I know there are 9 of those movies, but someone will figure it out someday. And then we'll get, though I have seen Sharks of the Corn, which is a Children of the Corn ripoff with sharks flying through a corn maze. That's a little bit better than this movie. Some of the same people are in it. But yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. The credits are nice. I say that every time. Wow, what credits? But yeah, it's no Amityville Mount Misery Road, because that movie will break you. That movie is a horrifying force. And they sell it at Walmart, which I know people have bought it and go, oh, it's a new Amityville movie. And they put it on and they kill themselves when they watch it. They can't handle the pain. They haven't built up the calluses on their soul that you guys have from watching movies and that I have from watching so many Amityvilles. So there should be kind of like doctor's warnings on these movies, kind of like whenever you get these that say you're probably going to get diarrhea when you watch it. Those kind of things, you should get those kind of warnings on this. I rest my case.
Well, so there's a couple of things while you were talking about that kind of popped in my head. First of all, I think the only movie where somebody got their literal just desserts was the movie Thinner, but that's because of the pie. But yeah, it's a lot of these movies do need warning, and The new Terrifier movie apparently has everybody just needing sick bags to go with them into the theater. And how that's possible because it hasn't even been shown yet, I don't know. But anyway,
Maddie went and saw that.
so, well, it's out now, but this is
That used to be a big business for some movies. Like Mark of the Devil came with, when you went to see Mark of the Devil, you got a vomit bag, which is a great promotional stunt. There's actually a library online of vomit bags from movies that this guy collects, and he has a couple hundred of them. I don't think I've ever thrown up from a movie. I did see someone throw up during a showing a zombie once at the drive-in. They just opened their door up during the eye scene where the eye gets taken out with the wood, and just threw up all over the parking lot. I was eating dim sum at the time with chopsticks, so I was a little more upset by the person throwing up than I was by the ocular violence. But your mileage may vary.
Okay. All right. Good point. So Friday, what didn't you like about this movie?
Yeah. First, I would like to comment that James has given us new accoulices, but we don't plan on leaving anytime soon because we love James in the show. It is our Sunday tradition now for nearly 2 years. Just so everybody knows that now. And this movie made me need a emotional support coffee. So, I have found there is no way for me to add anything at this moment other than she is not the worst Karen I know, but she is not one that I want to talk with ever. And I don't think I want to watch it again. It is not a rewatch movie. Some of them that we've done, I'm like, it got like a 2 or 3 in my brain, but I'd rewatch it if I needed to. This one is a never rewatch again.
Okay. Chaos, what did you like about the movie?
What I didn't like about the movie is as we've all said and it several times, the pacing was complete trash. They could have turned this movie into, they pretty much could have turned this into a 30-minute show and got the point across and actually probably put out a better product. And
yeah,
it just made absolutely, with the length it was, it made went absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
That's about the gist of it.
Go ahead, Del.
Okay. So here was my other thing I forgot about. Okay, somehow she got the barista that pissed her off before she became possessed dead in her closet and then got mad at her for messing up her clothes. She got the groupie in her trunk. But what did she do with the rest of the bodies? Because she killed people like in the winery and nobody knew where is he at? Well, he was yelling at her in the other room. Was she dragging bodies? And we never saw what was going on with the bodies other than they were randomly showing up in her house. Like the one guy, she killed him and just left him in her bathtub, I think, who tried to sell her phone service. But otherwise, there were just all these dead people that went unaccounted for. And you'd think they would have noticed somebody who was gutted in their parking lot or, dead in their kitchen, or it wasn't their kitchen. Those were wine things, not ovens, but, the area that they sorted everything out in the back room in the winery. And I just I was very confused as to where the bodies ended up, because it never showed her like hauling them away or anything. They just randomly, and she, oh, this is a
Yeah.
really bad hangover. Why is the dead barista messing up my closet? Bad dead barista. I'm talking to your manager, you know? So, okay,
Of
so now
course.
you.
So, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to show a little bit of a trick that I have while I'm watching these movies. Sometimes when I'm watching, what people would normally say as a regular or good movie, I just put down my random brain droppings during it live on either Facebook or Twitter or both sometimes. Dell has certainly seen me do this many a time. Um, and while watching these movies, I tend to jot down my brain droppings as they happen and then sweep them into manageable piles to try and get through, the show in something of a cohesive manner. Let me just go down the notes that I have for under what I didn't like about this movie. So, as a satire of Karens, this is incredibly insulting to actual Karens. The one after that is this is not mic'd very well, and this is the point where Dell, if you want to bring up that picture, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Zoom H1 digital recorder. This is, a small, lightweight, handheld, very portable. I have one myself, but I couldn't find it in time for the show. You can take it down now. Essentially, little trick that I learned from my friends who are either YouTube content creators and or cheap or low budget or no budget movie directors. What you do is you take that H1 recorder, take some duct tape that to a pole, a wooden pole that you can buy at your local hardware store anywhere in America. And what you got there is a workable, very trustworthy boom mic you can record. This movie needed that in various places where it just sounded like the levels were just inconsistent. And I almost had to turn on the closed captioning just to find out what they were talking about, what
Yeah.
they were saying. But so at the 24-minute mark, I began to suspect that most of the script was ad-libbed by actors who have never taken an improv class in their life, and it showed. And as Sam mentioned, yes, the whole swearing thing is a crutch, and it shows that they've never really done this or have been trained in that whole improv situation. I put down underneath that bad contortionist. And please, everybody knows box wine is far superior to bottled wine. Don't at me. It's easier to store. Okay, and you don't have if you keep it a long time, you don't have the cork rotting and falling into the wine at a later time. So that's a plus. And there's one point where I had to ask, so telemarketers are now making house calls? Because that guy showed up at her house. He's like, would you like to change phone companies? I'm like, wait a minute. Telemarketers are now showing up. This is the future, and I don't like the future. And then off-screen murder? Really? Then wine tasting party. The hell? What are they dancing to? Also, the hell? And then underneath that, in all caps, what are they dancing to? Really, you could hear maybe a little bit of a song playing, but I had no idea what they were doing. Or it was like somebody had a small transistor radio and they were all just, we're dancing. I thought it was just a dance party until I realized, wait, there's a band? There was no indication that this was a band. I mean, the guy has a bass that is not plugged in And from what I could tell, he wasn't really making contact with the strings at all. So the hell? And then underneath that, I put, they can't even do bloody entrails right. And I believe you have a picture of that. Yep, there it is. See, that, what you don't see is, that's just laying on top of the still shirted guy that she's supposedly eating the entrails from. And then, worst killing spree ever. And she can't even do a maniacal laugh right. Now, we could use more of the plumber guy. Then I just stopped taking notes and just kind of, yeah, that guy. Worst death ever. And then I stopped taking notes and I was just watching it like this. And then it got to the credits. Or at one point I went, no, movie, you don't get to try and be meta. Then of course the extended newscast, and I'm like, really slow worldwide news day. And then my last set of notes, oh no, there's mid-credit scenes for the entire thing. This movie, so last week we had a movie that almost ran, that pretty much ran short with the credits, but if you eliminated the 10 minutes of the end credits that were really, really slow, it was even shorter, like an hour, and it was like 65 minutes, 6 times. And I appreciated that. This one ran the entire hour and 45 minutes. I was hoping that it too had like slow credits that we could just skip over. No. This movie was a slog. This even, and one of my tricks to get through these things is I check to see if it's on YouTube, and this one was, and so I was watching it at 1.5 speed. Even then, cutting down on the time, this was too long. That should say something, people. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We do need to pay some bills. So when we get back, we'll plug some stuff and recommend some stuff. And the 5-star reviews, people, it's coming up. So go ahead and roll the thing.
Greetings and shabebans. We are the Retro Reductibus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite seems trying to say is that on Retro Reductibus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Door King Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brick.
You can listen to Retro Reductibus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. So, before we go forward with the talking about the movie some more, I do want to point out that sometimes after a hard night of watching movies, I like to curl up with a nice book, and we have some books that are coming out or have already come out that we would like to talk about. So, let's go ahead and take a look at these then.
Jenny, would you like to do the honors?
I can do honors if you want. I was waiting for you to tell me if you were doing it or I was doing it. Well,
Oh, I did in
let's
private
start
chat.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
It's okay.
Okay. There was like most a few, just so people know, there's like stuff below it. Now, the Owlite Menagerie. It is a book of wonderful stories, and I have loved every one that I have gotten to read in this book. James and Dell have some really great stories in it, and I would like to think that mine's really good too. And please check it out. It is our first book, our first anthology as the Owlite Network, and a whole bunch of great people have come together to tell you great stories. I hope that you guys try it out and see why I am so proud to be a part of it. And then our other one, Nightmare Whiskers, coming out on October 25th. There are two amazing stories by UncleNecRo in it. I have, you guessed it, another weird, odd story in it, and a great poem where my kid and I did art, and so many other amazing stories from other people on our network and network friends that is put out by the Fakor. Please check it out, and you can listen to my story in one of the last Corpse Garden Chronicles, and the last Owlite Society. You will get to hear one of UncleNecRo's stories and Raz T Slasher stories, just to give you little tidbits of why you would want to read it.
Reader stuff.
Oh yeah, and all the proceeds from the Owlite Menagerie goes to pro literacy to help adults get the skills they need to read. Every adult has the right to literacy. Okay.
Yes, we are big on literacy here.
Very much so.
We encourage it. It is what we are about, really.
So,
all
right, we have reached the ratings and would you recommend it kind of section here. So we'll start with Dell. Let us know.
Okay, I can't give it as low a rating as I did last week's. So this is based upon that. I'm going to give it an extra half a star up and go for 3 out of 10. And once again, I might recommend this to somebody like Mads, but probably not anybody who's actually wanting to watch a good movie. It would be like, do you want to see something really stupid? Like, do you feel like getting drunk and just giggling a bit at some random lines and then just not watching the end of it? You should watch this. Yeah, no, when the newscast starts, you're done. Just don't even bother. Unless you're really drunk, and then you might get some humor out of that too. But that's me.
Right. So, Tom Dog, what would you rate this, and would you recommend it?
Oh, okay. I give this movie a 3 out of 5.
We do 10s.
Oh, we do 10s. Okay. Okay. Well, in this case, I'll do a 4 out of 10, and could have been a little bit better, with the budget that they had. I'm kind of picky with that. Who would I recommend this to? Pretty much any Karen who comes at me and say, "Here, I got a movie for you to watch." And
that's a fair answer.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
They'll call your manager.
It's like, okay, you want to speak to my manager? Here you go. And then I show them this movie.
Okay, fair enough. Sam, what would you rate this, and would you recommend it?
I agree with a 3 out of 10. That feels like a good sweet spot to be in. And I would recommend this to people that work retail. This is a lovely Halloween movie for them to watch if they're not already freaked out by the onslaught of, in a few weeks, they'll be dealing with Karens on a daily basis as the holiday shopping season happens. But this is a good retail movie. I will say the cover art's really nice. So that gave me an extra star.
Okay. Friday, how do you rate this, and would you recommend it?
I'll give it a 2, and I don't wanna. I'm just happy with not doing so.
Okay. Chaos, same question.
I give it a 0. I miss Prey.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. So I was thinking myself. I was thinking that for the next season, since we all had to walk down this road and watch not all of, but the entire season of nothing but Amityville movies, I am going to try and sneak Prey 2 and Prey 3 into the wheel. Just because. And then also Sleepaway Camp 3. Fair enough. As far as I go, I'm going to disagree with just about everybody but Chaos and say 0 out of 10. And recommending this to be watched should be in violation of the Geneva Convention. So, now, I know what everybody's thinking at this point. There can't be any five-star reviews for this. 5 out of 5 on Amazon like we normally read. You would be wrong. We are going to read at least a few of these poor misguided souls. Starting with NW, John, the title, Sean C. Phillips Does It Again. This movie was a blast. A very creative story and fun characters throughout. Grab a beer or a glass of wine and enjoy. Great work. Okay. Next one is by Mueller T. Morrell. Crazy movie and a bit funny. Love the title. The lady portraying Karen is so funny. Best character of the entire film. Scroll down. Okay, so X Meta X, I'm guessing is a hardcore thing. I don't know. But the title is I Left, and the body of the thing is, well, they kind of do that. You can't see it here, so it's like all typed out in characters, just one of those, and that's it. And I'll just end up with these last two. Caesar, right? Greatest movie of our generation. I loved it. It was so amazing. And then KRS, enjoyed it. Twists and turns nicely. That's it. That's the entirety.
So you're saying it's like Citizen Kane, The Bicycle Thief, and then like Amityville Karen. That's the all 5 stars.
Yes, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Her McGeard people. So you kind of got to wonder what's going on through these people's minds. I want to sit them down and just go, what? And then, I don't know, get them help or something. But let's spin the wheel, people, to see what we're tortured with. I mean, what we're watching next week.
Yes. And it might be something by one of the people that we've already seen, because though there are a shit ton of these, there seem to be a shit ton of them made by these same people. Not necessarily in the exact same universe, but kind of.
I'm going to pray that you guys don't get Amityville Mount Misery.
And also,
I don't have that one on there.
Oh, thank you. You're so lucky.
I don't think. All right. Okay.
Until now. I know.
Oh, man. Let's see.
All right. So, are we ready? 3, 2, 1. Get him. And we just grazed onto the Amityville moon. So, Sean, what can we expect from the Amityville moon? Oop, wrong one. Did we break him? Do you know, have you seen the Amityville moon?
Oh, I thought you said Sean, so I was waiting.
Oh, no, I did. I'm like, shit, sorry.
No, it's
you're Sam.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry.
Amityville Moon's about a church. Though, to be fair, I was on a cruise once, and the first night they called me Steve, and I just went with it. So for like 10 days on sea, I just went by Steve. So this has happened before. Yeah, so it's about a church, 2 runaway girls, and a werewolf. It doesn't have anything to do with Amityville. Get ready. So maybe that's better. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So it may happen in Amityville, but not really. So yeah.
Werewolves of Amityville.
Yep. I saw a heavy-handed gent ram down Kent. Lately, he's been overseen in Amityville.
I'd like to meet his tailor. That's my song. My birthday's on Halloween, and that's the one song that I have to hear every year for some reason. It's just, it's not Halloween without Werewolves of London.
It is not.
I don't know why. Fuck Thriller. I don't. I like Vincent Price.
Hungry Like the Wolf by Duran Duran.
James is the only person I know who knows all of the words to Hungry Like the Wolf.
Oh wow.
See, it is a thing.
They have a new album out, and it has all goth versions of their songs. It just came out. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
We might be buying some Duran Duran.
Yeah.
Buying? Yeah. In this day and age? I'm going
it's on Spotify. But, it's on Spotify.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
I don't have Spotify.
So,
I'm cheap.
So, Del, where can we find you?
Oh, you can find me here every Sunday and Monday for sure most of the time, unless something bad happens. Like I don't get my meds filled and I'm a miserable piece of shit or something like that. You can find me on Facebook at Kari Sanders. And if you see this crow, that is me. I am judging you. You can also find me on Tuesdays over on Splash Pages. And tomorrow night we have Fred Van Lent on. And yeah, all the stuff on Facebook has my links to everywhere else, my author page, the Splash Pages stuff. So go there, find my stuff, buy my stuff, watch my stuff, hang out, be cool. I got a squirrel to feed, and he's an alcoholic. So it's more to hydrate or dehydrate. I don't know exactly. But yeah, that's me.
Tom, where can we find you?
You can find me on the Burl Pro Network over on YouTube at Tom Arcade 69. On Thursday's show, we got we're still in the Ghostbusters month. So this week we're going to be doing Ghostbusters Afterlife. My Ghostbusters 2 review last week was actually very good. I got pretty good reaction for that one. So it was a pretty good show. So yeah, this one's going to be even better. So yeah, in honor of the 40th anniversary of Ghostbusters, we're going through all the Ghostbusters movies and everything, and we got some really cool stuff lined up for Wrestling Prime on Saturday. My review of the Bray Wyatt pack that's coming out this week. So word of warning, if anybody has any seizures or photosensors and everything like that, just use caution, because I'm going to be using the monitor and everything like that. So with the review and everything. So, but other than that, and also more importantly, face hug that subscribe button too, in support of small streamers like myself.
I am curious. Have you tried the new Wednesday Whopper that they have out for Halloween?
I'm actually going to pass on that one, because it's just a regular Whopper with a purple bun. So I was debating whether or not to do that, and I was like, and I just decided, you know what? It's just a Whopper with just a regular Whopper with a purple bun. And so nothing fancy on that, but I might try that Morticia shake. So
okay.
that I might do.
I want to know, if you ever try it, what color does it turn your poop?
Okay. All right. I will do that.
I really miss the Halloween Whopper that they had a few years ago.
Yes.
Just for that. But anyway, Sam, where can we find you, sir?
You can find my website and podcast are B and S about movies, like bands about movies is how it's spelled. Saturday night, you can catch us at 11 o'clock Eastern on Groovy Doom on YouTube and Facebook. We're going to be showing Crypt of Dark Secrets this week, a shot in New Orleans witch voodoo movie that has about 50 minutes of story and 55 minutes of nudity. It's an hour long. It is awesome. It's really great. And if you're into buying stuff, this just came out this week. This is Despiser from Visual Vengeance. Bill Van Ryn, who does Groovy Doom, and we are on the commentary track for Despiser, a shot on video / 16 millimeter movie. It's kind of like a Canadian religious version of Lord of the Rings mixed with Gamma World. If you ever played Gamma World back in the 80s, it's awesome. Also, they're sold out, but there's a toy that came with it too, because there's an evil troll doll that gets possessed in it. It's really great. This came out, and also Kung Fu Rascals both came out this week from Visual Vengeance. You can get these on mvdshop.com and Diabolic DVD. Those are two great places if you're a physical media collector like me. But love this movie. It's a blast. It has PlayStation 1 level graphics in a movie that should maybe have PlayStation 5 level graphics, but that doesn't mean it's any less awesome. It's for not a lot of money. It's a great movie. And I love shot on video and shot on, micro budget movies. So it's definitely recommended. Thanks for having me again, guys, too. I really appreciate it.
I introduced you wrong twice, didn't
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry.
I'm just happy to be on the show. So don't worry. I never worry
seriously,
about that.
I'm honestly, I'm just getting back on some meds that I was off. And so I'm not right. So of course I'm drinking with it.
You said my last name right, which is hard. People always say Pacino, and then but how did you get that? It's Panic with an O. And people are like, Pachinko. No, it's just Panico. But so you got that part right. Okay. And that's solid. That's good. No, trust me, I don't mind. If as long as I'm asked to talk about Amityville, you can call me anything you'd like. So I appreciate it. I have about 15 more Amityville movies to watch this month. So I will be watching Amityville Rideshare and Amityville Job Interview this week. So I will report to you guys how those are. I'm going to say they're by the same people who made Amityville Frankenstein, which makes Amityville Karen look like Dawn of the Dead by comparison. So yeah.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. And UncleNecRo, I'm going to throw out my tagline for Nebraska for you because I was just there. There's Runzas here.
I'm sorry. Yes.
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 So my wife and I came out for the Children of the Corn watch thing, the live screen cinema thing where they played it in the middle of the town. And then we spent the rest of the time going to horrible casinos, pizza ranches, and Runzas. And holy shit, Pizza Ranch. There are no Pizza Ranches in Pittsburgh. There are no CC's either. Pizza Ranch had a door that was like the size of a child that I walked through. Also, I didn't realize that it's a religious restaurant and that there's like a prayer thing on every table, at least the one I was in. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. And also there's herring on the salad bar. And there's a
what?
Yeah, there was herring on the salad bar. And you guys have a salad dressing that no one else has. Dorothy Lynch. Dorothy Lynch. That stuff's awesome. Never heard of it before. I went in, I put it all over my herring and then put it on some pizza. I threw up in the parking lot, but it was a great time. And
is it pickled herring?
It was pickled herring. Yeah, I think. Yeah. This was at the closest one to the town that Children of the Corn was made at, because a lot of the cast was there with us eating at Pizza Ranch. There wasn't obviously a lot. It's actually where the hotel in the beginning of Children of the Corn is right next to the Pizza Ranch, which is pretty amazing. I ate at two Pizza Ranches while I was there. Yeah. So yeah, a good time. That's our idea of a vacation. The last vacation I didn't get to go inside COVID. My wife went to Salt Lake City and explored all the Halloween 4, 5, and 6 locations. Called me, FaceTimed me from the drugstore that had just been knocked down, and she was stealing a brick out of the parking lot to put it in our Halloween shrine. So yeah, we go on some weird vacations. The Prowler is the next one. I hope I want to go to where the Prowler was shot. My favorite slasher.
Do you follow the Decatur Michael Myers on Facebook? I just discovered him.
No, but there is. I live in Monongahela, PA, which is close to Pittsburgh, and there is a Monongahela Michael Myers now, and he wears like a sweatsuit and the shirt, and he sits outside the Dollar General. Our town is very small. It's where the end of RoboCop was shot. The steel mills there, and yeah, they call him Monongahela Myers, and he sits down there with a backpack on and waits for the bus. My wife and I have never seen them. My wife has an entire leg covered with Michael Myers tattoos, and she's like, "How have we not seen Monongahela Michael Myers yet?" I can't wait. I will, when we find him, you best believe I will be taking a lot of pictures with him and posting them and sending them to you guys. Yeah.
When you're getting the hug in for the picture, get one of those little tracker clips and just kind of sneak it into the mask or something so that you can just follow him wherever he goes. Like hide it in the little hair bit or
I'll do the little spider tracer on him and send him out. I imagine, and I'm saying this in a nice way, but I imagine Monongahela Michael Myers smells really bad. So I'm not going to try to get too close. You know what I mean? But he's very short and chubby, I've been told, which yes, he's on brand for Pittsburgh. And, my wife's like, why we need to find him? Because we've just redid our basement and it's way too much Halloween stuff. And maybe we'll bring him here to hang out. for Halloween. Maybe he'll pass out candy with the kids.
Cool.
That'd be awesome.
All right.
He has the darkest
So-
eyes, the dumbest devil's eyes. Thanks for having me,
Friday.
guys.
Oh, anytime.
You're more than welcome. Friday, where can we find you?
I'm on the Elliott Network. I'm at Paycor. I'm at Friday with the Library in the Blue Box. And if you actually want to read my stuff, come to Friday, not Friday, but Jennifer Elliott, my author
Okay.
page.
All right. The disembodied head of chaos, where can we find you?
Floating and people in everyone's closet.
Yep. Fair
Aw, the Lord disembodied. And find
That
her.
happens. Okay. And I am, as always, your humble servant, Uncle Necro. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, currently known as X, several blogs, other podcasts, and in my farmhouse, yelling at clouds. So until next time, spay and neuter your friends and seek help.